Hello, my name is Michael Nisha, and I'm with Life Healing Lessons, and tonight's lesson is on trusting God. About trusting God is, God reveals to us, once we've come to accept Him as our rightful creator and definitely sacrifice our living life to Him. That's when He draws closer to us and He reveals our purpose and the will He has in our life for us. And, a lot of times when He does this, there's a promise that comes with it. And so and when He gives us those promises, just like He gave us His word, it's unwavering. It doesn't it doesn't not happen. It's absolute. It's sure to happen. And so what I want to speak on that is that I know a lot of people have received a promise from God, and then, so much time goes by and they're like, God, you said this, you showed me this, I feel like this is the purpose that you've put in my life, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing what you told me to do. I'm making all these sacrifices, and I'm still not receiving the wanted outcome or the expected outcome. And or even the outcome that you feel like God promised you. You might feel like, God, where's that? But what I want you to know is that you have to trust God. And trusting Him means allowing Him to fulfill His promise in His time. Because even though you might feel like, oh, I've been doing it for so long, and I've been doing it for years now, and I still haven't even scratched the surface of where I want to be. And God, you promised you put me here, or you promised you provide this, but I still haven't received it. And while all of that is possible, are you trusting Him? Because His timing is everything. And what I want to say is that when it comes to God's promises to us, He is sure to fulfill them. Sure to. Because He is not a man that He could lie. God has no reason to lie to us. And He would not lie to us. If He's gonna do it, He's gonna do it. And if He wasn't, He wouldn't. He wouldn't have even told you so. So what I want to remind you guys of is that just like the people in the wilderness, when the children of Israel were in the wilderness for that 40 years, God intended for them to be there for a short amount of time, but it was their own lack of, fear of God, and their own lack of accepting God, and their own lack of staying faithful to Him that made their stay in the wilderness longer. And it's the same thing with you, because there's only two reasons why God hasn't given you what He's promised. One is that it's in delay, because God doesn't see that you're ready for it, meaning that there's still more growing for you to do. So if God has given you a promise and you're like, I still haven't gotten it yet, then maybe it's because you haven't grasped that lesson that He needs you to learn before He can provide you with that. So instead of, asking God, why haven't I gotten it? Why haven't I gotten it? Why haven't I gotten it? Ask yourself, what is it that I can do to become more ready for when I do receive it? Because delay is not denial, but however it is delayed. And the only reason why God would delay something is because He sees that it would either corrupt you or destroy you if you had it in that moment that you're in right now. So, with that being said, ask yourself, How can I grow? This is your chance to grow your faith. Grow in God. Grow in His word. Grow in the promise that He gave you. You know, are you doing everything to show that you are ready for that? Because if you're still, slipping into those old ways, then God is like, no, because I need you to be completely here, completely with me before I can give it to you. Because the moment I give it to you, then, and if you're just going to slip back into those old ways, then what have we done this for? So check yourself and grow your faith. Even the apostles, they asked Jesus, they said, hey, give us more faith. Grow our faith. So while you're waiting, grow your faith. That when you are in the waiting period, that is the most terrific time to be growing your faith in God. Knowing that He's promised you something, but even though you haven't received it yet, you still gonna place faith in Him. You're still gonna praise Him. You're still gonna believe Him, knowing that He is faithful and sure to deliver. Because He said so. And then my second reason. So first reason was delay. My second reason is because you may have squandered it. Same thing like the children of Israel. A good bit of them died off before God even gave them the promised land. He told them, hey, y'all group of people, y'all not going to the promised land. Y'all chose to disobey me. Y'all chose to go and, have interactions with the people I specifically told y'all not to. And so with that being said, you know what I promised is still there, but you just won't receive it. Meaning your kids may receive it. Your grandchildren may receive it. So does that mean that you should hey, well, since I'm not getting it no more, let me not continue in the purpose that God had for me? Of course not. No, it's you go harder. You go harder because even though you may not receive it, it's a blessing that you leave behind for your offspring and for your generations to come. Because once God has promised something, it is sure. It is definite to fulfill. You might not be the one to be able to have it. You might not be the one to be able to enjoy it. It might not come in your lifetime, but it's definitely going to come. So even if you set that foundation for your children, set that foundation so they can know, so they can have something to build off of. And they're not only building off of, what you did. They're building off of the faith that my mother, my father, my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather, God made a promise to them. And even though it didn't happen in their lifetime, they never gave up. They never wavered. They never lost faith. They never lost hope. And that is the same thing that I'm going to do. Let them know, yes, I made a mistake. Yes, this happened. But that doesn't limit God's grace on my life. That doesn't limit God's mercy on my life. So I'm going to continue to praise. I'm going to continue to bless. I'm going to continue to be faithful to Him. Because my relationship with Him is more than just what He promised me. That was a perk. The fact that He did so much for me while I was here. Even though I didn't get my promise while I was here, He gave me ones that it could still go to. So endure. Because whether it's delayed, or it's for the next generation. God is sure to deliver on his promise. And it's up to you to trust him. And even in that, even if you spend all your life fulfilling that will, that purpose that God had for you, and even though you don't get to receive that promise in your lifetime, knowing the fact that it could be for your children or your grandchildren is good enough. And it's also something to build your faith. Building your faith it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes a wanting, first of all, a desire, but then it takes a persistence. You have to be persistent and persevere in building your faith, because that right there alone is not for the weak. Because it's so easy to see what's going on in front of you and say, you know what? I know God made me a promise, but it ain't happening how I need it to or how I want it to. So I got to get out here and get it. And boom, just like that, you back in the world. So just lean on God. Lean on God for his understanding. Lean on God for his peace. And when you are in doubt, when you are having those moments where, you're a little shaky, it's a little wavering, because times then got a little too hard, or, something that happened and you like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Go to God. Turn to him. Ask him, God, what's going on? What is it? Something that I need to learn? Is it something that you want me to understand? Why is this been allowed to happen to me? Or what is it that's going to come out of this from this happening to me? And I grew up the same as a lot of people. You don't question God. And I think that's where that generation before us made the mistake. Because no, you don't question God in the extent of, like, God, well, if you love people, then why do you allow, you can ask that question too, but you don't question God in the means of to defy him, or, in the means of not wanting or trying to, like a tricky or, sorcery type way. But to question God and seek answers, yes, he tells us in his Bible. Ask, seek, knock. You have to. But he also says, give him a chance. Try him, taste him, and you will see that he is good. And I am here to let y'all know the best good that good can get. It don't get no gooder than that. Okay? So in this lesson, I want you to know that when God has given you a promise, no matter if it's delayed or if it's for your next generation, trust him. Trust him. Trust God. Trust his timing. Trust his process. He will not fail you. In no way. He will not fail you. He is sure to deliver. Okay? So, like always, be thankful for them blessings and them lessons. Okay? Y'all have a good night.